Taylor Swift wasn't looking for Ellen DeGeneres. She wasn't investigating her. And she certainly wasn't expecting to find Ellen's name connected to a mysterious private island. But then Taylor received a file. No explanation. No sender. Just one photograph. At first, it looked completely ordinary. A private island. A group of wealthy guests. A boat sitting near the shore. Then Taylor zoomed in. And that's when she saw it. Ellen. Taylor stared at the photograph for several seconds. Why was Ellen there? And more importantly, why had someone sent this picture to her? She opened the file again. There was a date attached to the image. Then a second photograph appeared. Different location. Same island. And again, Ellen's name appeared in the notes. Taylor's curiosity turned into suspicion. She kept scrolling. There were documents, photographs, and fragments of old messages. But one thing was strange. Large sections had been blacked out. Names were missing. Dates had been removed. Someone had clearly tried to hide parts of the story. Taylor almost closed the file. Then she noticed something in the corner of one photograph. A tiny handwritten mark. She zoomed in. It was a set of initials. E.D. Taylor immediately asked herself the question nobody seemed willing to answer. What was Ellen's connection to this island? She searched for the location. Nothing. She searched the date. Nothing. It was as if the place didn't officially exist. Then Taylor found one final document buried at the bottom of the folder. It was only 1 page long. And across the top were 4 words, "Do not release this." Taylor stopped. Because underneath those words was something even more shocking. A list of names. And Ellen wasn't the only name on it. There was another name Taylor recognized immediately. Taylor didn't immediately open the rest of the file. She just stared at that list. Because the second name wasn't random. It belonged to someone Taylor had known for years. Someone whose connection to Ellen made the entire document feel even stranger. Taylor went back to the first photograph. Then the second. Then the list. 3 completely different pieces of information. But somehow, they seemed connected. She picked up her phone and searched the island's name. Nothing, no major news articles, no tourist information, no recent photographs. Almost nothing. That made Taylor even more suspicious. So she tried something else. She searched the coordinates written in the corner of the document. This time, she got a result. A tiny location in the middle of the ocean. But there was a problem. The location didn't have a public name. Taylor zoomed out. The island was surrounded by water with no obvious nearby buildings, roads, or normal tourist activity. Then she noticed something else. A small symbol appeared beside the coordinates. It looked almost like a logo. Taylor had seen it before, not on the island, not in the photographs, but somewhere much closer to home. She opened the second folder. Inside was a screenshot from an old event. The same symbol was visible in the background, and standing underneath it was Ellen. Taylor froze. This was no longer just a strange photograph. There appeared to be a connection between Ellen, the mysterious location, and the document someone had sent her. But Taylor still didn't know who had created the file, so she checked the metadata. And that's when she found the first real clue. The file had been created only 2 days earlier. Someone had recently assembled all of this information. Someone wanted Taylor to see it. But why? Taylor scrolled to the bottom of the folder. There was one final message. Only 6 words. Ask Ellen about the island. Taylor read it twice. Then she put her phone down. Because suddenly, this wasn't about discovering an old secret anymore. Someone wanted her to confront Ellen. And Taylor had no idea who was waiting for her answer. Taylor could have easily deleted the file or pretended she had never seen it, but instead, she chose the far riskier option of calling Ellen. The phone rang twice before Ellen answered with a hesitant hello, during which Taylor hesitated, staring at the photograph on her screen before simply asking, "Have you ever been to that island?" The brief silence that followed was just long enough for Taylor to notice, and rather than answering, Ellen countered with, "Who told you about it?" Taylor's expression shifted instantly. She hadn't mentioned the file, the photos, or even the island's name, yet Ellen clearly knew what she meant. When Taylor pressed her on how she knew, Ellen avoided the question entirely and solemnly warned her to delete whatever she had received. That single warning changed everything, providing Taylor with concrete proof that the file wasn't fake. When Taylor demanded to know why, Ellen cryptically replied that some things were left in the past for a reason, before abruptly hanging up. Left staring at her phone in shock, Taylor had expected denial or confusion, not a direct warning. Driven by a newfound seriousness, she reopened the file and examined the second name on the list, noticing a date right next to it, the exact day Ellen had supposedly visited the island. Digging deeper into a partial itinerary, she enhanced a crossed-out final line to reveal the words, "Private meeting, no recording." Just as she stared at the screen, her phone buzzed with an incoming message from an unknown number reading, "You asked Ellen the wrong question," accompanied by an attached video. Taylor stared at the 19-second attachment, hesitating before pressing play, well aware that someone intentionally wanted her to see it. The footage opened on a dark hallway and a closed door before panning to a room where the exact same symbol from the island photographs was displayed on the wall above the date 2018. Replaying the clip, Taylor noticed a shadowy figure walk across the room, place a folder labeled Ellen on a table, and walk away. Just before the video abruptly cut off, the camera swung toward the doorway, capturing a second unidentified figure standing in the entrance. Upon analyzing the timestamp, Taylor realized that while the video was recorded years ago, the file itself was created only 2 days prior. Inspecting the metadata revealed it had been recently edited, but the creator had left the original file name intact, a key clue that led Taylor to an obscure archived mention of a private event featuring the same symbol. Before she could process the discovery, an incoming call from an unknown number broke the silence. A voice whispered, "Stop looking for Ellen," followed by, "You're looking in the wrong direction," before hanging up. Frozen in place, Taylor turned her gaze back to the list of names, suddenly realizing a terrifying truth: Ellen was never the primary focus of the mystery. Taylor returned to the original list, shifting her focus from Ellen to the second name she had recognized instantly, which tied together the island, symbol, video, and caller. Comparing the creation dates, she realized Ellen's name was consistently linked nearby whenever the second name appeared. However, a handwritten note hidden under the last page changed the narrative entirely, reading simply, "Ellen was never the final target." Driven to find out why Ellen was framed as the central suspect, Taylor zoomed in on the video footage right as the folder was placed on the table, revealing a partially hidden photo of 3 individuals: Ellen, the person from the list, and a third figure whose face Taylor recognized as someone from her own personal world. Taylor went back to the original list, but this time she wasn't looking at Ellen's name. She was looking at the second name, the name she'd recognized immediately, and suddenly, the pieces started connecting. The island, the symbol, the old video, and the mysterious caller all pointed toward the same person. Taylor opened the first photograph again, then the second, and compared the dates, realizing they weren't random because each file had been created around a specific period, and every time that second name appeared, Ellen's name appeared somewhere nearby. Her hands stopped moving when she noticed something buried beneath the final page, a handwritten note with only one sentence stating, "Ellen was never the final target." Taylor stared at it, wondering why the entire file had been built around Ellen, why someone had specifically told her to ask Ellen about the island, and who was trying to make her believe that Ellen was the person hiding something. Taylor went back to the mysterious video, paused it at the exact moment the figure placed the folder on the table, zoomed in, and found a photograph hidden behind the folder. Enhancing the image made the mystery much bigger. The photograph showed 3 people. One was Ellen, another was the person from the original list, and the third person was almost completely hidden with only part of their face visible. Taylor looked at it again and again until she finally recognized them, her expression changing instantly because the third person wasn't a stranger, but someone from Taylor's own world. Before she could process what she was seeing, another message appeared on her phone with no warnings or mysterious instructions, just a photograph accompanied by 4 words, "Now you know why." Taylor opened the image and her face went completely still, because the person standing beside Ellen wasn't just connected to the island, they were the person who had sent Taylor the entire file. Gemini said. Taylor stared at the photograph as the entire story finally seemed to make sense. The file wasn't created to expose Ellen, but to make Taylor believe Ellen was hiding something. The mysterious island, the photographs, the edited video, and the anonymous calls had all been carefully arranged, and suddenly Taylor understood why the first message had told her to ask Ellen about the island. Someone wanted Taylor to confront Ellen so the two of them would be focused on each other. However, Taylor still had the original files. Comparing the photographs again, she noticed a tiny reflection in the corner of the first image, the person holding the camera. Zooming in, she saw that the reflection wasn't Ellen, the mysterious figure from the video, or the person from the list. It was someone else, the same person who appeared in the final photograph, the one who had supposedly sent her the entire file. Suddenly, Taylor realized the biggest twist: the person who gave her the evidence was also controlling the evidence, and the story had never been about discovering Ellen's secret, but about manipulating Taylor into believing there was one. Taylor picked up her phone and called Ellen again. This time, Ellen answered immediately, and instead of accusing her, Taylor simply asked who else knew about that island. Ellen was silent before finally saying, "You need to understand something. The story you're looking at isn't what you think it is," and continuing, "Someone has been trying to make you investigate the wrong person." Suddenly, everything clicked. The island wasn't the real mystery, and Ellen wasn't the real target. Taylor was. The entire trail had been designed to lead her exactly where someone wanted her to go, and the person behind it was someone Taylor already knew. At least she thought she did. Online, people might turn a mysterious story like this into rumors and start claiming that Taylor exposed Ellen or that the island connection was real. It wasn't. This was an entertainment story created around a celebrity mystery concept. There is no real evidence here establishing that Taylor Swift or Ellen DeGeneres were involved in any such island events. And that's what makes the fictional story interesting. Sometimes the most dangerous mystery isn't the secret you're trying to uncover. It's the person who wants you to believe the secret exists.